There are 8 free worship leading resources that I use on a regular basis to help me lead worship well that I bet you didn't know existed. The first resource is praisecharts.com. Now, if you don't know what Praise Charts is, where have you been for the past few months? But Praise Charts is a website where you can get high quality worship chord sheets for pretty much any song that you could want. They have like choral arrangements. I think they have tracks on there as well. Now, those aren't free, so why did I include that on this list? Well, what is free on their website are 2 things. Number 1, they have what they call stage charts. These stage charts are chord charts, but they don't have the words of the song on the sheet. It is literally just verse 1. I'll show an example here. It's verse 1 and then the chords of verse 1. And if the chords repeat a bunch of times, guess what? It's not like G, C, D, E minor, G, C, D, E minor, G, C, D, E minor. They would just put G, C, D, E minor one time, and then you know that that is the chord pattern for the verse. Now, those are completely free on their website, which is amazing. And I was hearing the founder, Ryan Dahl, talk about how they actually pay out of pocket for those stage charts. Like, it costs them money whenever you download them. So what a great resource, like, for them to offer churches. They just want people to have these for free. And these stage charts are perfect, I think, for transitioning kind of from I'm going to stare at my music stand the whole time to I'm going to have a chord sheet, a stage chart as they call them, down on the floor in front of me, and I can reference it throughout my worship set, but I'm not going to be glued to the music stand the entire time. So a great free resource. You get free chords for songs, and it helps transition your team into memorizing their music ultimately, because as they view these stage charts, they're going to see that, as people complain about all the time, worship songs are just the same 4 chords over and over again. By the way, if they're the same 4 chords over and over again, then why can't we memorize them? I digress. These stage charts are the perfect intermediate step to transitioning to memorizing your music, or at the very least, getting away from the music stand. Now, Praise Charts is sort of a 2-for-1 as a free resource for worship leaders, because not only do they have the stage charts, but what I love even more are the song lists on their website. They have song lists for pretty much anything that you could imagine. I mean, it starts with as general as like the top 100 songs from this month, all the way to the top 100 songs of all time, all the way to songs for Father's Day or songs about the cross or any theme that you could imagine. So if you've ever been planning a worship set list and you're like, I wonder if there's a song about this, then check out the link in the description below to praisecharts.com, where you can find these lists of every theme. Basically, what they do is they take any song that's in their database and they put a tag on it that's relevant to it. So if the song's about the cross, it'll get the cross tag. If it's a song about fathers, then it'll get the father's tag. I'm not sure if that's an actual tag, but I'm pretty sure it might be, because they have like 1,000 tags or something crazy. And then you can view those themes on their website, click the tab, and then guess what? You've got a bunch of songs about whatever you just clicked on at your disposal. So I love to use it if I'm trying to find a specific song about a specific theme, but it's also just a great resource to stay up to date on the latest and most popular worship music. These lists, by the way, are formed by them taking all of the data from their website. So anytime somebody downloads a chord chart, it gets put into the database, and then that gets linked up with whatever list the song could show up on, and then it populates that list. So if a song is number 1 on the top trending songs for this month, that literally means that that song on their website was downloaded the most out of any other song on the website, which means that a bunch of churches are probably doing it, which means that it's a popular song right now. So I love that, because then it's not just somebody's opinion on like, these are good songs. It's actual data points, which I love data points that you can point to and say objectively, these are the songs that are working in the universal church right now. Speaking of song selection, I know that Praise Charts has all of the hottest, newest songs right now. Of course, they have all the old songs as well. But speaking of old songs, if you like to do hymns at your church, or you're looking to incorporate more hymns in your church, then definitely check out the second resource, which is Reawaken Hymns. You might have run across Reawaken Hymns on YouTube before. He's got a YouTube channel. His name's Nathan Drake. I've gotten to talk to him a couple times now. Great guy who has a passion for modernizing hymns. And when I say modernizing, it's not in like a super trendy way. Like, it's putting normal chords to hymns. If you've ever looked at a hymnal before, you would see that a hymn has like 50 million chords in it. That's why we all hate Christmas songs, because Christmas songs have 50 million chords in them, because they're all hymn-like. Maybe you don't hate Christmas songs, but they get on my nerves when it's like 45 different chords in one song. What Nathan does is he takes the chords of hymns and simplifies them so that you could be playing it just with you and an acoustic guitar. You could play it with full band as well, but if it's just you and an acoustic guitar and you want to do hymns in your church, definitely check out Reawaken Hymns. He's been doing this for a really long time now, and he's got all the chord charts for free on his website. You can check out his arrangements of them. He's got recordings of all of them. He's done a bunch of albums as well that you can listen to. So just a great free resource. I love to use this if I have to do a hymn at church. I shouldn't say it like that. If I get to do a hymn at church, then I'll check out Reawaken Hymns. Also, I love it around Christmas and Easter time because he'll put out lists of Christmas songs and Easter songs with the chords. And it's just like, this is exactly what I needed in this moment, because I don't want to have to search around for the perfect arrangement for some Christmas song that's got 50 million chords. I just want the simple one so that I can lead it for my church. So don't sleep on Reawaken Hymns if you want to start introducing some hymns into your church and you want a simpler way of playing them. On to number 3, the third free worship leading resource is one of my favorite worship leading resources. I've used it every single week for like literally the past 8 to 10 years, and that is Karl Verkade's pads. Once again, I'll link it down in the description below. These are my favorite pads. I know that there are a bunch of other people who have put pads out. I think my friend Jimmy Cooper has put out pads. I know Churchfront has pads. I know Worship Tutorials has pads. I'm sure those are all great. I've listened to them, and yeah, they work. I'm stuck on the Karl Verkade pads for some reason. I think maybe it's nostalgic for me because I've been using them for so long. If you don't know what a pad is, it's this ethereal synth sound that fills in the sonic cracks of your music so that there's less dead space, and it fills up the sonic spectrum of your band. So if your band exists in this spectrum, let's say it's just you and your acoustic guitar and your instrumentation exists in this spectrum, then adding the pads is going to widen that a little bit, and it'll give you a fuller sound. So that's a benefit of using pads. Also, pads help fill in that dead space between transitions between worship songs. So at the end of a worship song, if you're in the same key, you let that chord ring out, and then the pad just comes in behind. You'll hear it right now. And then you can strum the next chord. I've talked about this a million times on my channel. In fact, I made a whole video about the pad setup that I use every single week, so I'll link that down in the description below as well. But the pads are completely free, so check them out, Karl Verkade's pads. All right, I need you to just hear me out on this fourth one, okay? It is ProPresenter's YouTube channel. I know that ProPresenter isn't free, but a ton of churches use it. And honestly, guys, if you aren't using ProPresenter, like I served in a church for 8 years where we used Keynote, actually, and it was fine, but ProPresenter is so much better. And it's like, I don't know what the price is. I won't say what the price is because I forget what it is. I think it's like $400, but it's so worth the money. So that's not free, but what is free, if you already have ProPresenter, is ProPresenter's YouTube channel, and I wanted to point that out because they have so many amazing tutorials on their YouTube channel. Like when I first started learning ProPresenter, I got on their YouTube channel. Actually, I just typed in ProPresenter on YouTube because I figured other people would be making content about it, which they do, but I just kept coming back to ProPresenter's YouTube channel because they literally have they're the ones who made it. Of course, they should have amazing tutorials, but a lot of companies don't have amazing tutorials on their own products, and you have to go and find other people to teach you how to use their product. So I just love that ProPresenter puts it right in front of you. They have like hour-long tutorials on how to set up ProPresenter with anything that you could imagine, like any feature in ProPresenter. They've made a tutorial about it on their YouTube channel. So if you ever have any question about how to do anything in ProPresenter, just check out the ProPresenter YouTube channel. I think that a lot of people don't know that exists. So I love those tutorials, but also they always give updates whenever they make a new update to the software. They'll put out like the change log or the whatever you call it, new version list of all the updates that they have. And they have these amazing videos that just lay it out really clearly and quickly so that you know what's changing from one version to the next. On to number 5. Hey, what kind of music do you play before and after your service? This is something that I've always struggled with because I know, like, I see it in Facebook groups all the time. Like, legally, you're not supposed to play CDs or from Spotify or so on and so forth. And maybe you're cringing right now and you're like, I do that and it's not that big of a deal. And honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about it one way or another. I think I know what the legal answer is, but I also know what every church does. Well, if you want to skip that conversation completely, I've got another free worship leading resource for you for pre and post service music, and that is Amen Worldwide. Once again, another YouTube channel. I think it started as a YouTube channel. It might have started as a blog, but I found it on YouTube. And what Amen Worldwide is at its core is a YouTube channel where they always post new like indie artists, like Christian artists that you probably wouldn't have heard about otherwise. And so I love it for that because I'm a hipster and I only listen to music that nobody else knows about. But the free resource that I want to point you to, linked down in the description below, are their albums called For the Culture. What I love about these albums is that they are royalty-free music that they have put out. They're Christian artists. They've put them out so that you can use them in whatever way you see fit. So you could use them if you're making like a creative video for your church. They're free for you to use, royalty-free music, but I love to use them to play them before a service. Now, you've got to know your church in this case, all right? Because these are like hip, trendy songs. So if you serve in an older church, then it's probably not going to fit the vibe for your church. But if you're like a younger church, you're a more modern church, whatever that means, you'll know what I'm talking about whenever you hear the songs. They're like upbeat, chill hop, kind of great background music, but definitely more modern feeling with beats and synths and stuff like that. So if you're looking for free pre and post service music that would be actually completely legal to play and you could have it on your live streams, check out Amen Worldwide's For the Culture albums. There's actually 2 of them that you can check out. So just give them a listen and see if they'd work in your church. The 6th free worship leading resource is my favorite website, Worship Together. I've been using Worship Together. I've been following Worship Together all the way since, I don't know if they were called Worship Together back then, but I know that they were called like New Song Cafe was that sort of show where they'd introduce these songs.
Welcome to New Song Cafe at worshiptogether.com. I'm Vicky Beeching, and today I'm joined by David Crowder.
Now I think they're just called Worship Together. I don't think they have that title, New Song Cafe, anymore. But you've probably heard of them maybe because they have like 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. But what I love about Worship Together is, first of all, you get free chords for the songs, right? But I love to use them for the acoustic arrangements of a song, because those songs that they put, like whenever they get with an artist and they do a version of a song, they're like always just acoustic versions, which is great for me because I serve in a smaller church, so it's just me and an acoustic guitar and a cajon player sometimes, most of the time, all the time on Sundays. And so I need those acoustic arrangements because it's really hard to take a full band arrangement and turn that into, okay, it's just me and 2 acoustic guitar players leading a song. But that's the arrangement on Worship Together whenever they do these song sessions. So the tip for this one is listen to those arrangements on worshiptogether.com if you are in a smaller church where you have limited instrumentation, and just copy those arrangements and use them in your own church. I talk about this all the time when it comes to song arrangements. So often we try to like reinvent the wheel when it comes to arranging a song, and we're like, I'm gonna make this song my own. Well, guess what? Producers were paid, I don't know how much producers get paid, but I assume it's a decent amount of money whenever you produce a song. You at least get a cut of the royalties. They get paid to arrange these songs, and they're professionals in what they do, and it's so easy to just take the arrangement that somebody has actually thought about in advance. They aren't just making it up as they go. They're thinking about how each instrument interacts with each other and what parts they play. So we can just copy that and put it into our own instrumentation. and then boom, you have a perfectly arranged song. Now, like I said before, that's hard to do whenever you have a full band recording with 11 guitars. I'm looking at you, Hillsong, 11 guitarists layered on top of each other. But these worship together songs strip all that back to like 2 acoustic guitars and a piano. Beautiful. What a great, simple setup, and they show you how you can make that sound great. So just copy the arrangement, worshiptogether.com. On to the next one, and that is vocal warm-ups, and particularly I like Jacob's Vocal Academy warm-ups. I think he has a YouTube channel. I haven't checked it out before. I just found it on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. He has a bunch of vocal warm-ups, and there are a bunch from like differing lengths. There's like 5-minute vocal warm-ups, which you should probably do more than 5 minutes, but I like to do like the 15-minute vocal warm-up that he has. In fact, I'll link the exact vocal warm-up that I use. When I think about it, I don't do it every week, but I should do it every week. I'll link the one that I use down in the description below. I love these vocal warm-ups because I feel like they're so effective. Like, I can literally feel the tangible change in the comfortability of my voice after I do these. And guess what? I have a 15-minute drive from my house to church in the morning, so I literally leave my house, turn on the vocal warm-up, do it in the car, and then when I get to church, right as I pull in the parking lot, I'm ending with E-A-E-A-E, something like that. That's the vocal warm-up at the end. And also Jacob has like an awesome accent, so he's always like lip roll arpeggio, and it just gets me fired up in the morning.
Now, lip roll arpeggio.
So check out Jacob's Vocal Academy's warm-ups. Whatever streaming software you use for music, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, it's literally everywhere, and it's free. So go check it out and start doing vocal warm-ups before you lead worship on Sunday. Okay, I had to put this one in here. This is actually one of my resources that I created. It's called the Worship Rehearsal Blueprint, and I wanted to put it in here because I honestly think that it will help you improve your worship ministry. And like all of the other resources, this one's free as well. I'll link that. That'll be at the top of the description below. The Worship Rehearsal Blueprint is a free step-by-step guide for running the perfect worship rehearsal every single week. It is a step-by-step guide. I take you through, there's 5 parts to what I think creates a perfect worship rehearsal, and I walk you through each step, and then next time you lead your worship rehearsal, you can just plug and play that schedule. I even give you a sample schedule of what a worship rehearsal could look like, where you spend the first 15 minutes doing prayer and devotional and so on and so forth until you get to the end. And by the end of your worship rehearsal, if you follow that blueprint, you will lead your team well, not just musically. We don't just gather for worship rehearsal to play through songs. We want to lead them spiritually and relationally as well. So check out that worship rehearsal blueprint down in the description below. Step-by-step guide for running the perfect worship rehearsal every single week. Until I see you in the next video, keep leading worship well.